And we are now recording. All right, Emily, go ahead.
Hello. All right. Well, I am here to go ahead and go through the See the Signs, Speak Out website, specifically the training program administrator area. As you can see here, I have the website pulled up, and if you are not aware of the where to go, just go to speakout.300-m.net for now. We will update this when the site goes live to the public, but for now, that's where you're going to go. All right, and as you can see, here's the site. Where you're going to access is underneath training programs. This is for now where all of the administrator access will be. When you are modifying and creating courses in the future, it should also be contained underneath training programs. For now, why don't we go ahead to the administrator registration area? And feel free to follow along as we go through this or take notes. If you do want to follow along and you get caught behind or you have a question or something happens and you can't keep going with us, just go ahead and pay attention and we will post this video online after the presentation tomorrow. So if you can always go back through it. And like I said, if you do, or well, actually, like Brian said, if you do have questions, feel free to put them in the chat or save them until we're done and we'll go through them. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is go ahead and fill out the registration form to become an administrator. Hang on one second. Okay, so go ahead and put in your first name and your last name, your email address. Some of these areas are optional. You can put them in if you want. We put them in here in case you wanted to open this form up to the public. If you wanted to have administrators of future organizations or companies come in here, you'll be able to have their information in the future. For now, just go ahead and put in your zip code. And like I said, we do have additional fields in here that not necessarily required, but in case you wanted to collect data on people who are accessing the site to create courses in the future, we thought it would be better to create all of the areas up front so you wouldn't have to go back and add anything. You can select your organization. Currently, we only have a couple in here, but if you wanted to add it, you can just click this button. And you can go ahead and enter your organization name. Like I said, this is a good tool for if you guys want to expand on the site in the future. You can put in your like a brief description of the organization. You can put in a logo. If you would like to put in a website, you can type it in right here. Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, pretty much any social media, and then hit submit. I'm not going to submit because my organization is already in here, so I'll go ahead and select. I'm going to leave these fields empty for now, but it's a pretty basic registration form. And I actually already have our user registered, so if you're going through the site and you want to select all the correct fields and fill out your information, you can leave some of them blank that if you don't have any information that you want to fill out. The two critical things you're definitely going to want above and beyond any other required fields are the username and password. When you select your username, please make sure that it is something you want to keep. I recommend writing it down so that you don't lose it. It is something that you will not be able to change in the future. You'll be able to change your password, your address, first and last name, but do not change your username. All right, so once you've selected a password, we did leave an area here for a disclaimer. This is always good to have on the site in case you have materials that you want to express that some legal requirements. I think we're still in the process of getting that information or looking into getting that information. So just for now, go ahead and select the checkbox, but in the future, we will go ahead and update that. Once you've done that, go ahead and hit submit. And if you should get a successful page. But once your registration is created, you'll automatically be logged in. But if you weren't already logged in and you want to go ahead and log in, let's say you leave the site, you're just going to want to go to the administrator login page. And I already have a username. I'm going to go ahead and put in my information. Just go ahead and log in. All right, and so this is the administrator portal. This is the hub, essentially, for the administrator access. If you go to this page, you have a couple of different options. And this is also the area where we can add news bulletins and information for any and all administrators. We can update and change this information as need be. For now, we just have a few areas you can access. Mainly, we have an area for the courses you've created, an area to create a course, and the administrator tools page. On the administrator tools page, we are going to post this video, so go ahead and look for that probably tomorrow. That'll be the access that'll walk you through how to access the administrator area and how to create a course in case you have any questions or you want to go back over it. But there's also a frequently asked questions area in here, and any questions that you have at the end of this presentation, we'll go ahead and we'll take note of, and then we'll add them here if it's something that we feel like is definitely need to be cleared up. All right, so you can go back to the administrator portal, and we're going to go ahead and create our first course. So go ahead and click create a course. All right, and hopefully everybody has kind of thought about or prepared some information for creating their first course. I went ahead and pulled a couple of images and videos, and I'm just going to go ahead and call my course Color Theory. This area, the description, is an area to put about maybe a paragraph or a couple paragraphs of information. The idea behind the course is that it is similar to a textbook. If you imagine a textbook, inside each textbook there are chapters, and at the end of each chapter you have a quiz. That's kind of how we built this training program section. You can create a course, and then within that course you'll have multiple chapters, and at the end of each chapter you'll take either a quiz or fill out a survey. So for the purposes of this video and this presentation, we're going to go ahead and just create a quiz, but I will also show you the survey area. So go ahead and put in a description, or I'm just going to write test description. This is the area that will be viewable from the course listings page. So this is kind of an overview of everything that will be covered within the course. And you can also add an overview video. And I've gone ahead and selected a video. Now, when you want to select a video, let's say I want to do a Vimeo video. Okay, so you're going to need the video code. And you might ask, what is this? This is a small code you're going to grab from the page where you'll find the video. So you can see here we have a little graphic that kind of shows you where to go and find the information. So don't worry if you don't have it right off the bat. You can always just click this little link and it'll show you. We have it here for Vimeo as well as YouTube. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the code from my video. And just go ahead and make sure it's a Vimeo video. All right, and so everything here looks good to me. So I'm going to submit my course, and you'll see a success page. Thank you for your submission. And I have two options. I can go to the My Courses page where all of my courses are listed, or back to my administrator portal. I'm going to go ahead to the My Courses page, and look, I'm sorry, I forgot that I had other courses in here, so please ignore the other ones. So here's the course we actually just created. This is one I was messing with earlier. So you can see here I wrote in a test description, and I have a couple of options for the course that I've created. I can edit it, I can delete it, I can finalize it, I can preview or edit chapters, or I can add a chapter. Now currently, let's say I have a spelling error or I want to update a video link. I can just click on Edit Course, and it takes me back to a similar page. The one thing you'll notice, the difference between the course creation page and the edit page, is I also have the ability to finalize and publish my course. Now, this is very important. When you've finalized your course and you've published it to the public, users will be able to go and start taking your course, so you won't be able to edit it. You'll be able to do things like edit the text. So for instance, I had a spelling error. I could go in and change that, but I won't be able to make big changes to it. I won't be able to add any additional chapters, quizzes, or surveys. So if I wanted to go ahead and finalize it, I would just hit this little checkbox, but I'm not going to, so I'm just going to resubmit it. All right, and go back to my courses page. All right, now if I wanted to delete the course, I can click this and then I'll get a notification saying, are you sure you want to delete it? And then I can select that I want to delete it or I don't. If I did want to finalize my course, I can go back here, and this will be very similar to the edit page. You can see here, it brings up almost the exact same page, and you just click that checkbox like I said before. For previewing and editing chapters, we currently don't have any chapters, so there's none here. But let's go ahead and add our first chapter. Okay. So you can see here that I have a couple of options. I've created some courses before, and unfortunately, before I started this video, I had another course called Color Theory. So we will go ahead and select this. Side note, do not name your courses the same name. All right, so let's go ahead and call our chapter Intro to Color Theory. All right, and this next box, you'll see here that there's a chapter description box as well as down below a chapter notes box. These are important to note because the chapter description is more of an overview. It is about a paragraph that they will see before they take before they take the course and click on the chapter. This information is kind of like another overview. The chapter notes down below are more in-depth. Any information you want to convey or any pieces of information you want to point out to them, that's where you're going to do it, is in the chapter notes section. So we'll go ahead and do another quick description. All right, and then the next important piece is the chapter number. Currently, our form fields don't have the validation set up, meaning that if you wanted to go ahead and select chapter 1 and then you created another chapter and you selected chapter 1, you wouldn't have an error, but in the future, you will only be able to select one chapter 1 per course, one chapter 2 per course, etc., etc. For now, you can only select 10 chapters. If you want to do less, that is completely fine. That'd be a very long course, but some need to be more detailed, I guess. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click chapter 1. And I've already prepared a video. It's going to be similar to how it was before, except this time I'm going to use it in YouTube. So I need to grab my YouTube video code, and you can see we have a different set of directions here for YouTube. So if you are confused about where to find your video code, you can just click on that little link. All right, so I'm going to grab the code. All right, and as I said before, this will be the more in-depth chapter notes. All right, so we also have a couple of areas here where we can add optional images and downloadable items. This area it's very helpful if you want to show demonstrative images, if you want to reference things that might not be able to catch in a video. So I have prepared a couple of images. So we'll go ahead and click that we want to upload this first image. Now, if you don't want to select any images or any downloadable items, just leave them unchecked. Or if you want to just put one, you can put one. You can put however many you want. If you do want to add more than 5 downloadable items, such as documents, like Word documents or PDF files, text documents, anything that's not an image file would go down here. And if you do want to upload more than 5, we recommend putting them in a folder and compressing it into a zip file. That way you can upload as much as you want within those parameters. So we'll go back up here and we're going to upload our first image. So let me go ahead and select my image. I'm going to call this red. So each image also has the ability to have a caption. You can see here. All right, and I'm going to add 2 documents, and you can, instead of adding a caption for those, you can add a title. And I've got a little handy PDF here and a text document. All right, so now that everything's done on here, we're going to go ahead and hit submit. Give it a second. All right, and we're going to head back to the My Courses page. You'll find that most of the areas that you're going to access for the site, if you're creating courses or editing courses, are going to happen on the My Courses page. And again, that is, you can find that on under the administrator portal. So now that we have a chapter, we're going to go ahead and click Preview, Edit a Chapter. There we go. And we can see that our first chapter has appeared. All right, and so if you want to go ahead and look at your course, let's say you want to review the information that you put in for your course, you can either go to the Edit Course page, or you can go ahead and click the Detail view of the course, which is just clicking on the title. And from here, you can see essentially what the user who's taking the course will see. Up here, you'll notice the course progress bar. This is an area for the user section of the site, which we are still in the process of programming. But when this area is done, users will go ahead and they'll be able to see their progress. So if they've started this course and we have a couple of chapters, let's say we had 4 chapters. If they've completed 1 chapter, it would say 25% complete. And once they complete the entire course, it'll say 100% complete. So you can see here that our video that we selected for the course is displayed, and our description would go right here. Obviously, we don't have a very long description, but if we did, it would just appear there. Below that, you will see the list of chapters. Since we only have 1, we've just got the 1 here. You'll also notice that we do have the Edit Chapter, Delete Chapter, and Add, Modify, Quiz, or Survey buttons. These buttons are exclusive to the person who created the chapter. So don't worry, users and other administrators will not be able to access these buttons. The same with the course area. Although this is the view that the users will see, and right now you can see these Edit Chapter, Delete Chapter buttons. When I'm logged in as a user and not an administrator, I will not see these. All right, so let's go back here to our administrator portal, or I'm sorry, our My Courses page. And our chapter is below here. So as I mentioned before, you can click on the color theory or the detail view of the course, and you can do the same with the chapter. So go ahead and click on the chapter name, and that'll bring up the detail view of the chapter. So as you can see here, it's similar to how our course page looks. The course progress bar, again, will need to be updated when the user portion of the site is complete, but it is very similar to the course side of it's very similar to the course detail view page. You can see that the downloadable items and the images that we uploaded to the site are over here on the sidebar, and our video has been updated. We also have chapter notes. And it looks like we have a small bug. Sorry about that. That will be updated. This is where the quiz and survey will appear.
We didn't put one in.
We haven't put one in yet, but when we do, it will appear down here, which I will show you in just a second. If you haven't uploaded a quiz or survey, this little message, no results found, will appear. We're going to remove that. And if for some reason you didn't want to add a quiz or a survey to a chapter, this would just be blank. It would just have the chapter notes and the video and images, and et cetera, et cetera. You can see here that we see our images, and we're able to download our documents if we wanted to. Oh, and this is a test document. All right, so I'm going to go back here. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's say we wanted to edit our chapter. Just click Edit Chapter, and we can see all of the fields that we saw before when we were creating the chapter, except this time we can go ahead and edit them. This is similar to the course edit page. You can update the chapter name. You could update the chapter number. Let's say you want to reorder your chapters. You can do that here. The one thing you should note is that once you've finalized your course, you will not be able to do some of this higher level editing. You won't be able to change the chapter number. Most of the edits will be reserved for things like updating a video link or updating text in case you have typos or you need to clarify something in the video. You won't necessarily be able to make bigger sweeping changes across the chapter. The delete chapter button is similar to the course delete button. It'll give you an alert asking if you really want to delete the chapter. Hopefully you don't. Let's go ahead now and talk about the quiz survey portion of the course. So we're going to go ahead and add our first quiz or survey. And as you can see, it takes a minute to think, but it looks pretty simple to start with, but it can be very complex. But we're just going to kind of walk you through it. So first thing we have to do is decide what we're going to name our quiz or survey. So let's say the basics of color quiz. All right, and we have two areas here. The first area is again similar to how we've shown on the previous areas of the site. It's a short description. This will appear on the chapter view on the chapter page, and it's for users to get an understanding of what will be covered in the quiz or the survey. This needs to be kept to 350 characters or less. It's really meant to be about 3 sentences or less. It's just an overview. The quiz survey instructions are the more detailed instructions. If you do want to add detailed instructions, some of the quizzes might be fairly simple. It might just be a multiple choice quiz or a true-false quiz, and you might not even want instructions. If you do want to add instructions, you can go ahead and do that here. For now, because we are still working through the validation of the quiz survey of some of the forms, go ahead and fill out all of the form fields when you're creating courses. If we do need to go back and change something, we can, but for now, just go ahead to be cautious and put something in every field. If you want to make sure that it relates to the information you're putting in, that would be pretty useful. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put in a quiz. although we do have the ability to put in a survey, and I will show you that in just a minute. Now, you'll note here that I selected quiz and that option went away. Once you do select the type of quiz or survey you want to select, whether it's a quiz or a survey, that field will go away. So when you go to create your quiz or survey, just make sure you know that up front. All right, so we have the ability here to select our passing score. So if I have 10 questions and I want them to answer at least 8 out of 10, I'll go ahead and make my score 80. But I'm going to be nice and make it 70. And you are allowed to have up to 15 quiz questions on your quiz. And we do have a special little area here. If a user takes your quiz and they've passed the course, if they've passed the quiz, but let's say it's our passing score is 70 and they missed one answer. Well, we have the ability here to check this box if we want them to see the correct answer. If they haven't passed the quiz, we won't show the answers to ensure that they do complete the quiz correctly. But if you want to show the answers if they've successfully completed it, go ahead and check that box. All right. Excuse me. So we have here our first question. We're just going to do something easy like
What color is the sky?
yeah, there we go. What color is the sky? In Ohio, it is very gray today, so I don't know if everybody would get that, but we're going to go ahead and go with some basic answers. So blue. Okay, so as you can see here, we have different fields here for multiple choice. You have two options if you're creating a quiz. You have the option to create a true false area, in which case you basically just select the little button to the side to indicate which one is correct. Or you can do a multiple choice question. And since that's what I've opted to do, you can see here that we've got 4 fields we can put in. For now, it would be best to go ahead and always put in 4 fields. When we have updated the validation for the quiz, you should be able to go ahead and do less than that. But to be safe, just go ahead and make sure you have 4 answers prepared for a multiple choice question. So real quickly, I'm going to go ahead and that's too similar. Sometimes it's sunset. It is purple.
Green.
And it's black at night sometimes. Green. Okay. So we're going to make the correct answer blue. And we have 2 other options here. The first one is, would you like to add a visual reference to this question? And as you can see here, we've got 4 options. We can add a video, either a YouTube or a Vimeo video, an image, or we can just say, no, we don't want to add a visual reference. So I'm going to go ahead and add an image as my visual reference. And you can choose the file you want. And I've got a nice pretty image of trees and the sky. All right, and so if we only wanted 1 question for our quiz, that'd be a really easy quiz, but we could go ahead and just say, would I like to add another question? No, but I do want to add another one, so I'm going to say yes. Red and yellow make purple. Go ahead and make it capital, even though it's grammatically incorrect. I'm going to make this a true-false question, and I'm going to say that's false. Sorry, I had to check something super quick. All right, so would I like to add a visual reference? No, not right now. And I want to add 1 more question to my quiz.
Red hair is the best.
Red hair is the best. And now I'm making another true or false. True. That's an impartial statement, though, but it is true. All right, and do I want to add another visual reference? I'm going to say no for now. I could upload my beautiful picture with my red hair. It's not real though. And no, I don't want to add another question. All right, so now that we've filled out our quiz questions, make sure everything looks good. And we will be able to go back and edit these questions, but for now, let's just go ahead and hit submit. And you should note that once your quiz is created, and this is a rule, this is why we have this pop-up here, you will not be able to add or delete questions. So if you want to make your quiz 15 questions long, you can make the questions as detailed as you want, but you won't be able to remove or add them. So going into how many questions, if you want to make it easy and just make 10 questions, there you go. But since we only have 3, we'll not be able to add or delete any. So just a note there. If you did want to add another one, you can go ahead and hit cancel on that pop-up and you'll be able to add more. All right, so we're going to go back to the My Courses page. And you can see here, once we hit the add or modify button, that we have a quiz. Ba, da, da, da. All right, so we have a couple of options here. We can delete the quiz, which is similar to the other areas on the site. We can edit the quiz, which I'll show you in just a second. And we can preview the quiz. And this is the fun part because you can see what the quiz will look like when the user takes it. So you can see here, our instructions, as I mentioned before, will appear here. I didn't know if you caught that, but the basic description that we uploaded appears here for the administrator side. However, when the user selects it, it'll display beneath the chapter or on the chapter page. I'll show you that in just a second. So let's go back to the preview quiz area. You can see here the instructions, and we've got our 3 questions. You can see what the user will look like when they click on it, blue. Red and yellow make purple, that's false. Red hair is the best. However, because you're the administrator, you don't have the ability to take the quiz, and it has not been published to the public. So once it is, you'll be able, if you were a user, to click submit. And it will go through and it will score your quiz and it'll log all your results. So let's go ahead and say I made a typo here. And maybe I want to make this red and yellow make orange. I'm going to go ahead and click edit quiz. All right. So you can see here that we've got the areas that we selected before. We've got our passing score. We're letting them see the answers when we're done. We've got our first question. What color is the sky? It's a multiple choice question. And here's the question we really want to change. We want to make it orange. And we want to change this to true. Let's go ahead and add an image. And if, for instance, like you can see up here, we did choose an image, it would be displayed right there, a preview of what we selected. All right, so you have to wait until the image is uploaded to see the preview. That's why we don't have it yet. But once we hit submit, it will be uploaded. All right. So now if we go back into our quiz, should be updated. Boom! Got that big bright orange square. All right, so that is kind of what entails quizzes. Now let me go back in and I will show you what the survey portion looks like. Now you will note that you can only add 1 quiz or survey per chapter. So if, for instance, you did want to have 2 separate areas that were, one was a quiz and one was a survey, if you wanted to get feedback, we recommend that you create another chapter. So we'll go ahead and, for the purposes of showing you the survey area, I'm just going to create another quick chapter. It's going to be chapter number 2. We don't need a video. No notes. And we don't need any images or downloadable items. So when you're in the process of creating these courses and chapters, you will be accessing the My Courses page a lot. All right, so you can see here we've got our second chapter. So go ahead and click Add Quiz or Survey. Take it a second. All right, so it's the same sort of setup. As the quiz page. But instead of selecting quiz, we're going to select survey. Well, we have a small little bug, but we'll get that cleaned up. So ignore this top part here. So that won't appear when you're creating a survey. You'll just see this. It's very similar to the quiz section. You'll just put in the question text, and you have two options as far as the type of survey you want to create. If you want to make a rating system, 1 through 10, or a short answer. If you want to get feedback, oh, what did you think of my course? You can have a short answer box, or if you want to create something more in-depth, like, did you find this course helpful? Ratings 1 through 10. And we do have instructions when you are taking the survey that 1 is lower and 10 is higher. So if you want somebody to rate you higher, think of it as 10 is the best. All right, and it's similar too in that you can add references, visual references, videos, images, or just leave it blank. And the next question will be the same. You can see there. So I'm not going to add a survey for now. We're going to go ahead and go back to My Courses. All right, so now that we've added our quiz, we can go into our chapter and you'll see that the quiz appeared below. So we have the option, if we were the user, we would have the option to take the quiz. However, since we created it, we can edit it or delete it. Again, the user will not be able to see the edit or delete buttons. And since we are the administrator, we won't be able to take the quiz. All right. So that's pretty much how you go through creating a course. You can get very complex with things. You can make it simpler. If you wanted to just leave out videos, if you wanted to add videos for every question or every chapter, you can do that as well. So why don't we go ahead and do some questions and answers.
All right, we're going to unmute everybody. Okay, everybody is unmuted. Hopefully that was not arduous for you. Let's look at the questions. You guys are posting a lot in here. Okay. Meeting will be starting. Okay. This isn't letting me put my birth date in. It's keeping it as 2014. Is anyone else having this problem? Okay, so if it's not letting you change the year, we'll write that down as a bug.
Yes, we will. We will fix all the bugs before this goes live for the users so that everything is set up correctly.
And Natalie, we are recording this, so you'll be able to go back and review all this. This was meant for people to be able to follow along, but if they were falling behind, they could just go back and watch the video. Does a quiz or survey need to be at the end of the chapter, or can they be throughout? Each chapter gets a quiz or survey. So
you could create up to 10 chapters for your course, and then you can have up to 10 quizzes or surveys, one for each chapter.
And if you think, we've tried to make it as flexible as we could. So you could start out your first chapter as kind of an overview of the situation, and you could even make it have, instead of a quiz, a baseline survey. And then after they complete the course, you could finish the course with a summary, and then that summary would have a follow-up survey so that you could do a comparison to a baseline up against the person themselves. Let's see here. Then Rebecca says, just watching Natalie. Okay, Rebecca was answering Natalie's question. How will we be able to link these modules from our own websites? So you can, as you create these courses and they start showing up for the public, you'll be able to just take the address up on top and put it out there, copy it, and then paste the link back to the course on your own website. For the Jewish group, we will be replicating this website for them. So they'll be able to go in and have their own private access and whatnot for their own set of courses separate from ODVNs.
One thing I didn't show you, which I can actually show you really quick, is how the courses will appear once they are finalized. Let's say we wanted to finalize our course. We would just go down here, click this checkbox, and we get an "Are you sure?" I am sure. So I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. And then we're going to go back to my courses page. You can see over here that we also have an all courses button. And this is where all the course listings will be once they are published to the public and users can view. All of our courses, once they are completed, will be in this area, and you can see our description. And this will take us to the page that allows us to view the chapter of our course. So in reference to your question, what you would do is you would just copy the address above here. And you will note that when this site is completely finished, everyone will be able to access the courses and the chapters. However, to take the quiz, they will need to register for the site.
Okay. Then Dana, is there a way to change it from the word chapter to something else? For instance, if we want to do 4 different conversation scenarios with a quiz after each, could it say conversation 1?
Fortunately, we don't have the ability to change the word chapter, but you could just call it chapter 1, first conversation, or the first situation. It's really, think of it like a textbook. This will help you break it down, and you can just make the title for the chapter whatever you would like.
Natalie, if we already have the quiz on SurveyMonkey, can we create a link to it, or should we construct the quiz here? I would go ahead and paste the link into your chapter description, or your chapter notes rather. So are we looking at the overview here? Okay, so if we go and look at chapter 2, this has no notes, but if you put your notes in here, you would be able to put in the link to the SurveyMonkey piece there and just not include the survey that's a part of the system.
You should note that if you do want to get the results from all the users who've taken it, you're going to have to access those through SurveyMonkey. We won't be able to pull those results into the See the Signs website. If you do want to access the user data for the people who've completed the course or taken quizzes and surveys through the See the Signs Speak Out website, you'll have to recreate the quiz or survey on here.
Dana asked, do the course images just sit on the side numbered 1 and 2? For each image that you add, it does go onto the side bar, and people can click on them to view the larger image.
Yeah, it's more of like a reference. So if you, for your chapter notes, if you say, please reference image 1 pertaining to this conversation or this situation, you can go ahead and add your images there. If you do want to place images elsewhere, you could upload them under the document, the downloadable items over in the sidebar. That's meant more for documents like PDFs and Word documents, but if you do run out of room here and you want to upload them there, you can.
I believe the other option besides doing a video is also an image here. No? Oh, okay. Sorry. We had images on the side. Then Natalie says, where do quiz answers go? Are they sent to us automatically, or do we have to log into the system to see them?
You'll have to log into the system because of the way everything is built. Everything is interconnected. So when the user side of the site has been built and we have our first results, you'll be able to click a course data button from your page, which will allow you to see the results from your quiz or survey. I believe we're going to go ahead and take information like how many users have completed it, or the highest score, the average score. If there, I think we're going to even take the average answer for each question. I'm not 100% sure. We have it all written down, and that'll come as soon as the user section is built.
Dana asks, when they answer the questions for the quizzes, correct or not, can we add something that explains why it was correct or not?
And that is, there's really no section for you to add why it's wrong or not, because the user could add something and what they're thinking could be completely different from what the actual answer is. So I would just keep it generic and maybe we can add a message, please review the chapter notes or the chapter information and the video to see further information as to why this answer was selected.
Dana asks, and it's the last question it looks like, can you edit the number of options for a quiz, for instance, adding multiple choice option, or no?
Currently, we don't have the validation set up. You could add up to 4 multiple choice questions. We are going to let you have the ability to add 3 or 2 if you so choose. However, for now, until we get the validation in place, it would be better to add 4. You won't be able to add more.
Although the quiz is limited to either true or false questions or multiple choice questions, we aren't, because we can't validate a text entry where someone has to type in an answer or an essay. It's meant to be checked online, not sent to be checked and then graded. It'll grade it online. So that's why we have more black and white type of answers, yes or no, or multiple choice.
When you do create a survey, I mentioned before that you'll be able to pull quiz data. You'll be able to pull survey data as well. You'll be able to select or see the average rating if you have a rating system, or you'll be able to see all the short answers. Anybody who completes a course, who completes a quiz or survey, you will have the ability to see every one of their answers and every one of their statements if they do put in a short answer.
Okay, so that's all the questions that we see in the chat window. Does anyone have any follow-up questions from those?
Hi, this is Dana. I know I asked a bunch of questions, but I have a couple more. One thing I was a little confused about from what you all had said, so if you have a survey that's asking to evaluate the course, like did you like this course or how much did you learn 1 to 10 or something, are you saying, yes, we will be able to go back and see what they said so we can see how successful the course is? Or were you saying, no, you won't really be able to see that. You should go to something like SurveyMonkey that'll compile that for you?
Oh, no, you will be able to see the results from the quizzes and the surveys. The concept there is, one, you would be able to look at how people are answering the questions. If they're consistently getting a question wrong and everyone's choosing the same wrong answer, you may be able to say, oh, you know what, maybe we need to reword this, or maybe this is a bigger problem in this area than we thought before.
Yeah, and that can also be a helpful tool. If you find that everybody is assuming one answer, you can relook at the materials that you're using or the way that the information is conveyed, and you can adjust it correspondingly. However, you should note that if for some reason a question isn't working, we currently don't have the ability to delete it just because of the way the system is structured. So going into your quiz or survey, it's important to note to keep the amount of questions the same.
Because it's keeping historical data, we can't have things changing on people. So if they passed a course and then they come back later and it's a completely different course, we don't want them to say, well, I passed that course too. So we wanted people to be able to go in and make changes to fix typos and whatnot, and it's kind of like the honor system in that regard. But for the keeping of the integrity of information, we tried to limit the sweeping changes that you would be able to make to it in order to
Limit the.
limit the possibility that people would go back and look at a course and it's a completely different course than what they had taken before.
Any other questions?
Can I just ask, while we have so many other groups on the phone, and this is Dana again, sorry, we're just starting to develop our e-learning tools. We've been working on the workshop, and so we're just trying to figure out what's the best way to do this. So can I ask the other groups, are you planning to do something that's more kind of slide text-based, that you turn into a video, then have the quizzes? Or are you making something that's a more traditional video? Or I'm just curious about kind of how other people are approaching this.
Can you hear me?
Can almost hear you.
Now you can. We're using pretty much PowerPoint, and then we're gonna, I guess, make it into a movie file. So we're developing the script now for the slides and images that we already have.
Gotcha.
Speaking for ODVN's we're actually tomorrow we go to shoot the videos that are the situations, and we're also doing some something similar to what Natalie said, that where there's going to be PowerPoints that are follow-ups to those to walk people through the situations. And I believe, Rebecca, correct me if I'm wrong, we're taking those situations and we're looking at them from different perspectives, from the HR perspective, from the employee's perspective, from the manager's perspective, being able to use those same situations several different ways.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's really helpful.
We're also, can you hear me? I don't know if.
Yep.
Yes.
Frank?
Yep.
We're also going to be doing a series of PowerPoints that will have voiceover. That will be animated, automatically, sort of like what I think somebody else just said.
And are you guys hiring someone to do your voiceover script?
Oh, probably not.
Sarah's got a great voice. She really does.
I also had a question about the overall website. It seems like, so these modules, clearly they're housed on this Avon site. Like, we log in through here and do this. For all of our other resources, like our tip sheets or any other documents that aren't related to the courses, am I correct in that we put that on our own organization websites and we link to this? So it's kind of like they can get to the course those different ways before there's additional resources like tip sheets or things like that. That's through our personal websites.
It's up to you. For you, Dana, we are replicating the site for you. So you can change the navigation up on top, everything to fit your campaign's needs. So you could create a section on that for people to be able to download your media and whatnot. And we'll walk through with you individually how to use the full capabilities of the website, which includes like blogging, if you wanted people to be able to use a store, et cetera. It's a full-fledged website, so it'll accommodate anything you want to put onto it, but it's up to you how much you do.
Okay, thanks. That's good. And is that something all the organizations are doing, or is that unique to JWI?
That's unique to you, since when we were talking to you from to the whole group, you were the one who said, yeah, let's go ahead and replicate that, and we can use that. So it's been our plan. Now we can replicate this website for other groups as well within the Avon group if they wanted it.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll follow up about that. Thanks.
Okay.
And this is Christine. I just wanted to actually clarify. This will mainly be housed on the No More site, and each of our sites, including Avon and your 3 agencies, will also be able to have it housed on your site. But the main portal will be on nomore.org.
Are you stating or asking?
No, I'm stating.
Okay.
I mean, I think somebody just said it's going to be on the Avon site. Yes, that's true, but it will also be on, we'll also have portals through each of our sites and nomore.org.
Any other questions?
Bless you.
I think Dana just asked us. I just wanted to clarify. So if we do have tip materials and like downloadables, can we put them on this site, or should they only live on our site?
If we replicate this website for you, then they would need to, they could live on there. If you just wanted to post training materials on here and that's it, then they would need to live on your own website.
Okay, I think I get it. And does replication mean, like, how does this like just fit into our current sites, or is there like a whole revamping of our current website?
There's a lot of ways that we could skin that cat, not to be unfriendly to vegans, but so I think that would be more of a one-on-one conversation with you to figure out what would suit you best.
Okay.
Anyone else have questions?
I was just going to say that this looks really user-friendly and easy compared to the site that we currently have that I have no idea how to use.
Oh, jeez.
Well, it's good to hear about this one, though.
Yeah. Well, we did build this for this program specifically, knowing the kinds of things that people needed to be able to do and the types of utilities they needed. You know, if this was for an actual institution, it would have been designed differently. So hopefully that helps.
And we'll have access to this. Is it tomorrow that we will be able to log on and start playing around, or is it?
You can do that right now. However, what I would do, Natalie, is why don't we have a follow-up phone call to figure out what it is that you want to do in terms of like posting, or we could replicate or what have you. In which case, if you want to replicate it, you could still put things on here, but then after we replicate it for you, we'd probably go back and clean out everybody else's.
Okay.
But why don't you send me an email of a time that we could talk tomorrow? I'll be on a video shoot tomorrow, but I'll be able to walk away and I can give you a call and we can figure it out.
Okay, great. Thanks, Brian.
You're welcome. Well, if that's all, we'll go ahead and stop the recording. And I wish everyone a great evening. I think we're all on East Coast time here. So.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. You have a great one.
Thank you.